It's like a real life filter on the face. I'd love to know how this works. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you all of the products that I would immediately repurchase if I lost my makeup. I know the thoughts are absolutely terrifying, aren't they? Now, I know that this has been a bit of a trend in beauty YouTube for years. However, this video was actually inspired by a post that I saw on Reddit just last week where someone actually lost their makeup bag. So it got me thinking about what products would I immediately run out and repurchase. And this is going to be a high-end luxe edition. I promise I will do it for drugstore soon. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So the skin is not skinning today. My rosacea has decided to annoy me over the last couple of days. So that's what you can see here and here. But honestly, I've had such a good run with my skin recently that it was bound to happen. So we are going to start with the eyebrows, and I got two higher end products that honestly I adore. So the first one is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the ABH Micro Stroke Brow Pen. Now the only negative of this is that all of the writing has come off the actual pen, which is really annoying. So I have to Google what the name of the product is. But it has this really super fine tip, and for someone like me who has non-existent eyebrows, this is perfect because it just allows me to do really, really fine strokes. So the first thing you want to do with this is give it a good shake, and when I store it upside down like this. So it does come with a little spoolie on the end, which a lot of brow pens actually don't. So this is in the shade Dark Brown, and I just like to just mimic the eyebrow really. And before this, my holy grail was the Glossier Brow Flick, which I must have repurchased 30 times. No, I'm not joking. And I find that sometimes my eyebrows can look a little bit too harsh with the Glossier, whereas this just gives really, really natural looking strokes. So I think it's great. The trick is to just don't press, just to feather, and yeah, just go really, really lightly. And it's just so quick and easy to do, honestly, and they stay all day. It is an amazing brow pen and would be an immediate repurchase if I lost all of my makeup. But then I would go and I would repurchase this from Rare Beauty. This is, why is the writing so small? Oh my gosh, the Flexible Lifting Gel, and I really like this. Now, I have to be really honest that with some of these categories, I prefer the drugstore, and I'm going to say that the drugstore do hold my heart when it comes to eyebrow products, but this is a really, really good one, and I like this one because I prefer more waxy type formulas when it comes to eyebrow products, just because I feel like they cling on to all of the brow hairs a little bit better, and it just gives you fuller looking eyebrows. And although this is called a gel, I definitely feel like it's a bit of a hybrid between a gel and a wax. Yeah, I really enjoy it. You'll get hold all day. I really love the spoolie that comes with this brow gel, and I think I forgot to say that this is clear, which is always going to be my preference on the eyebrows because I don't have enough eyebrows to tint. And it goes without saying there's no white cast. Doesn't feel sticky, doesn't feel tacky, won't leave your eyebrows feeling crunchy. It's a really great brow gel. So when it comes to primers, it's always a little bit tricky with me because I do not rely on specific primers, primarily because I have drier skin. So for me, the priority is to just get hydration into my skin. So thinking about if I lost my makeup bag, I was thinking about which product I would go and repurchase first. And honestly, it would be this from Rhode. This is the Glazing Milk. So this is just seriously hydrating. You know, there are some days where my skin is not only dry, but it's dehydrated. Now, I do love lots of other milky toners. The Bioma is probably my favorite, but we are only talking higher end today, and that is really affordable, but it's so, so good. But I love this Rhode, and I love it because when my skin is feeling super dry, this is the best milky toner because it just feels ultra hydrating, and it leaves my skin really lovely and glowy as well. So for me, that's an amazing primer. So every time I use the glazing milk, I always top it with a moisturiser, and it would always be this one, the Embryolisse Lait-Crème Concentrate. Now, this is a drugstore product, but I know that if you buy the big size like this, it is a little bit more expensive. So I guess it could be classed as an expensive drugstore item, but I just topped my Rhode glazing milk with this, and that would always be my number one go-to when it comes to moisturisers. Now, I do have some specific primers that I really, really do love, which are from higher end. Now, here's the thing, right? When it comes to brands like the Sephora collection, I know that they are classed as higher end, but they are so affordable. They are so affordable, but they are not technically, drugstore. But this is my ultimate favorite primer. This is the Sephora Hydrate and Glow, and this is what I go to when my skin is feeling particularly dry. It basically is a radiance booster, but it also really smooths out the skin, just gives me a really healthy base. The one primer I turn to when my skin is like this is this one from Huda Beauty, the Easy Blur Primer. Now, I don't use this all over my face, but just in problematic areas. So I would, it really depends. If I lost my makeup and I wanted a primer, it would depend on how my skin was that day. So if it's dry, I would run out and buy this. If it was problematic, like today, I would run out and buy this. So we are going to go with how my skin is today, because it's not behaving. So it would be this Huda Beauty. This feels like a silicone primer and it looks like one, but it is silicone free. And I just think it's great for evening out bits of texture that you might have on your skin. And it is very, very blurring around the pore area. So just going over here. And it feels really nice and cooling. It's a lovely, lovely product. And it would be the product that I would use under my foundation, if I need some longevity. And that's the only place I'm going to put it, maybe a bit around my nose. Yeah, it feels so nice, that. It really does. We are going to start with the eyes first, and this was a little bit trickier for me because when it comes to eyeshadow, on a daily basis, I don't really use eyeshadow palettes. I use one and done shadows, but I know that's boring. But I am going to share with you which one and done eyeshadows I would pick up first. So this is really difficult. I love one and done liquid shadows, and I'd say my favourites are the Armani eye tints, but I also love these new ones from MAC, the Multi Sculpt. I think if I had to choose, it would be the MAC. The reason that I love the MAC so much is because they work really beautifully on the face as well. Now, I've used these several times, so just go and check out my other videos. I've got a roundup video, my last one, where I use these, and a new makeup video where I also use these. But these are absolutely fantastic, beautiful one and done eyeshadows, take a second to blend. So honestly, if I did lose my makeup tomorrow, I would probably run out and buy one of these first. However, we are going to talk eyeshadow palettes, and out of all of the eyeshadow palettes I've got, there's only one that I always immediately say, right, yeah, that's my number one, and it has been since the day it was released, and it's this one from Natasha Denona. It's looking a little bit grubby there, isn't it? It's because I do actually use this. So I think we're all familiar with this eyeshadow palette at this stage. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't think there has been a palette that has stood up to this from Natasha Denona since she released it. Nothing has ever come close, especially in terms of quality of the eyeshadows and how impactful they are. But I think we'll just go in with something really soft today. So I do like to use an eyeshadow primer with this palette, and this would be my go-to from higher end. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I've just used this for years, honestly. I know there's probably other ones that have come out that are better, but I like this because if you can see there, it has a little bit of coverage, which means that it will even out my eyelids a bit, because my eyelids are quite veiny and I've got a lot of discoloration. You don't need a lot of this, so don't pile it on if you use it. Just a really light layer. And obviously this will help your eyeshadow to last as well. So I think what I'll start with is this cool toned shade here, which is Stone. So I'm going to use a BK Beauty 212 for this. Just a nice fluffy brush, and I'm just going to use that as a little bit of a base. You'll have to let me know if you have tried this eyeshadow palette. It's definitely one of those that has stood the test of time, that I know people still talk about as just being just that eyeshadow palette. It is, it's just lovely. And I always find myself just comparing every eyeshadow palette that has cool tones in to this one. It's just a natural thing for me to do. Probably not helpful, actually. And then we're going to follow that with this shade here, which is the shade Vague. And I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'm just going to layer over what I did and just pushing that into the crease as well. Actually, all of these matte eyeshadows make the most beautiful one and done shadows. So do obviously the shimmers as well. Okay, now I'm going to take my BK Beauty N13 brush, and I'm going to still go into Vague, but this brush is less fluffy. So I'm just going to take a little bit into the crease. And it's funny because I have purchased quite a few of Natasha Denona's offerings since, and I just haven't found as much joy in the palettes as I did with this one. Isn't that funny? This is one of my absolute favorite colors ever. This is Mia, and I'm going to use my finger for this. So I'm just going to pop that lovely cool toned pink, and I'm just going to take that all over the lid there. Probably my most used shade actually, and I like to bring it all the way up to the crease because I've got deep set eyes, because I feel like it just helps to bring my eye forward just a little bit because it's so sunken. I really love that shade, Mia. It's so pretty. Now, I do want to demo one of the best shades in here, which is this one, which is Muse. Look at that. It's ridiculous. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it in the center of my eye. I don't want it to swallow up my eyeshadow completely. So I'm just going to place it just in the middle, just as a bit of a focus. And the thing is with this eyeshadow palette, you've got to love super impactful metallics, shimmers, toppers. The toppers are incredible. You have to love that. There's absolutely no point in buying this just for the mattes. I'm going to go into the deepest shade, which is Silhouette. And I'm going to get a winged liner brush. This is just one from Sigma. This is the E06. And I'm just going to bring a little bit of the darkest shade on the lash line. These mattes, oh my gosh, they're so pigmented. So I'm just going to go into another of my favorite shades, which is Whisper. This is beautiful, and I'm just going to use that just here. This is my Refer 21 brush. I'm just going to wing out a bit of Silhouette actually. And so yes, if I did lose all of my makeup tomorrow, this is the palette that I would definitely repurchase first. So we're going to talk about mascara now, and I have to be really transparent with you that I really struggle with higher end mascaras, and I didn't used to. I never used to buy anything but high end mascaras, but the drugstore just, for me, they either do it just as well or even better. Over the years, I've had many high-end mascaras, so I've tried them all. So we're talking Lisa Eldridge, Hourglass, Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, YSL, Chanel, all the Dior's. Yeah, nothing really standing out. But there's one high-end brand that do mascaras really well, and it has to be said, it's Armani. Armani makes some beautiful mascaras. Now, I knew that I would be filming this video, so I did go out and repurchase my most repurchased higher end mascara, which is the Armani Eyes to Kill. And I really do love this mascara. I think it's beautiful. I used it in my last video if you want to see it. However, there's another mascara, and I tested it back to back with this recently, just you know, on my own, not on camera, with the Armani Vertigo Lift mascara. And I did review this last year. It was just fine. However, when I've tested it against these other mascaras, the Vertigo Lift definitely does come out on top. So I feel like I was maybe a little bit too harsh. And I know that I'm harsh with higher end mascaras because the drugstore just kind of show high end up when it comes to mascaras. They really do. But I think overall, this Armani Vertigo Lift is the best. And if I did go out and repurchase a high-end mascara, it would be this one. So I think one of the things I got annoyed with this mascara is the wand, because it feels so flimsy. Honestly, it feels so cheap. And the brush does feel a little spiky, okay, when you are using it. But it's a good mascara. It is. And it's a kind of a low effort mascara as well. So I just like to go in just at the tips. So just tips, just to kind of give a little bit of length. And then I like to go in just at the base then. And I find that this just gives pretty lashes. So it's not like dramatic high impact. But my lashes are in really bad condition at the moment. So I kind of, no mascara is looking particularly good on me right now. I do like this, and I think I was a little bit harsh on it when I first reviewed it. Honestly, I think because the drugstore they just show up high end a lot of the time when it comes to mascara, and I would much prefer to buy a drugstore mascara than high end. So that's just one quick coat of the mascara. My lashes are in terrible condition right now because I'm just starting to change eyelash serums, so it's just so annoying. So look, I'm just gonna go and match up these eyes. Honestly, I love all Armani mascaras, and I think it's because they are quite dry formulas, so they don't get clumpy and they don't get messy. And as I said, my eyelashes are in terrible condition right now, so any mascara has its work cut out. But yeah, this is a really nice one. I think any Armani mascara is really nice, but again, I prefer the drugstore. So we are moving on to the under eyes now, and I would always run out and buy a colour corrector. My favourite one is actually more affordable, which is Morphe. However, if I was to run out and get a higher end one, it would be this one from Bobbi Brown. This is the Skin Corrector Stick, and I have this in the shade Peach. I do traditionally prefer liquid colour correctors because I just feel like they sink into the skin a little bit more, which is why I really like the Morphe. And there are other liquid correctors from higher end that I like. I like the Huda Beauty one. I think that's really nice. NARS have a really nice one. But this is super lightweight. It's not like a traditional cream. But I always have to have, these days, a colour corrector because look at my under eyes. Ridiculous. And I have adjusted the lighting in here. I've got new lights, and I feel like you can see my skin tone a lot more. Like this, I can see in my monitor is definitely how my skin really looks. So yeah. So for concealer, this was so hard. Oh my gosh, there are so many high-end concealers that I absolutely love. But to be honest, by the time I'd really sat down and thought about it, it was a no-brainer which one I was choosing, and it's this one from Fenty. This is the Fenty Beauty Wear Even Hydrating Concealer. I have loved this for years now, since it was released, and I've got two shades. So over here we've got 240 and over here we've got 225, and they are true neutral shades as well. Brilliant. So I like to use 240 just in the inner corner. No, sorry, that was 225, not 240. 242. What? Why can I not speak? I like to use 225 in the inner corner where I need brightening, and then 240 in the outer corner. I love this so much. This, I would say, is a medium coverage concealer. Although I would say it has some of the traits of a serum concealer, it's more creamy than anything else. And so it blends out dreamily, it gives really nice coverage, never looks cakey ever, literally never. And it just lasts all day. I I just love it. And it's so hard for any concealer to top this. Now, don't get me wrong. I did and ah between this and the Chanel, the newer Chanel. I really love this. It's very similar actually to the Fenty, but I think I could just get more coverage from the Fenty, and that's why I've chosen this. But on a day-to-day basis, with my higher end concealers, these two are at the top. But I really like the new Patrick Tar one as well. I think that's amazing. I have extremely dry under eyes, like ridiculously dry under eyes. So any concealer has its work cut out, like my mascaras. Mascaras have their work cut out on my awful eyelashes. But concealers, I mean, it's almost impossible. But you can see how it's giving me such great coverage under my eyes. It just looks, yeah, it's great. I love it. Oh, I use my BK Beauty A506 for that. Sorry. I think the easiest category for me to choose what foundation I would purchase straight away if I lost my foundations is one foundation, and it's this one from Haus Labs. It's always been my holy grail since it was released. I adore this. So this bottle is pretty much gone now, so I am using another bottle. I think I've been through 3 bottles of this, which I think is quite telling, isn't it? Especially because I have so many foundations, and so I test and try so many foundations. I have so many that I absolutely love, but this one, it's just the one. It is just the one. It has a really lovely sturdy glass bottle. Now it does have an annoying pump. This kind of moves around, and so it gets a bit messy, but you know, it's okay. That's the shade 210. They have an absolutely huge amount of shades on offer. I'd be so surprised if you couldn't find yours with this foundation. Make sure you give this a really, really good shake, because this is packed with skincare ingredients, and it has that patented ingredient in there, the fermented arnica, which is supposed to help with things like redness, which, hey, I need that today. So this shade is fine today, but I'd say it's better for me in the winter. So I'm going to put the foundation on with my BK Beauty 101 brush. I'm just going to dip into it, and we'll go on this side first. And because I have these issues going on, I'm going to kind of push it in and try and avoid swiping, because that's not going to help me. Now this is, I would call a glowier foundation. I wouldn't really call it dewy. On some people, it's very satin, but for me, it's definitely glowy. And because it's glowy, it's not the most blurring in the whole world, but it's still blurring. Yeah. Now, I always go for glowier foundations. That's just my preference. And because I have drier skin, it just suits me down to the ground. So you can see there that it has obviously covered up that redness, but you can still see texture. Nothing is going to get rid of that texture. I just love how this looks on my skin, and it just lasts so beautifully. I just think it's beautiful, and it just blends beautifully, lasts beautifully. And I always get comments and compliments on my skin when I wear this. And I think it's because of the glow and the radiance as well. It's just better for my skin type. Obviously, if you had more oilier skin, I do wonder actually how this would fare. Now, I know it's a really popular foundation, so I'm sure there are people with oilier skin that wear this. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how it would work on more oily skin, because obviously there's nothing matte about it. So I wouldn't call this a second skin foundation. This is my holy grail, special occasion. If I need my skin to look great all day, if I want a foundation I can rely on that's never going to sit into my fine lines, it's never going to dry out my skin. If I want it to be lovely and glowy but not dewy, then I go for this foundation. I think it's a solid medium, super buildable foundation. I don't think you need a lot of it. Like that was just one light layer. The most important thing with this foundation is to let it dry down, because I think it does take a little bit of time to dry down on the skin. I think some people can put it on and feel like it's just way too dewy, but it definitely needs a little time to set. It's not an immediate setting, which is good because I think it then allows you to build up the foundation. But once it sets, it's staying and it's not going anywhere. Now, it's not transfer proof, but it's still super long wearing. Like day and night, you can wear this foundation. It's just the one. And now I know it's not the most blurring foundation in the world, but there's just something about this foundation that I keep coming back to, that I love, that I can depend on, that I can rely on. And I just love it. And despite the amount of foundations that I try in a year, nothing has knocked this off the top spot. It's crazy. Okay, so moving on, I would not run out and buy a contour. I don't feel like I need to. I would run out and purchase a bronzer, and there's only one bronzer that I would run out and purchase, and it's this one from Makeup by Mario. I love this with all of my heart. This is the Softsculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and yes, it's as good as what people say. Now, I have to give a little disclaimer that if you have oilier skin, I'm not sure you'd like it. Even just touching it, it feels a little bit oily. It feels emollient. And on oily skin, like really oily skin, I'm not sure this would work out well. And I'm not sure that it would last. So that's the shade Light Medium. And it looks very sheer because it is very sheer. This is definitely what I would call a second skin. Going in with a BK Beauty A507 for this. So this is literally one of the only products that I've used in my life that I put on my face that literally just looks like skin. And it really does what it says. It enhances your skin. It's not detectable on the skin and it just melts in. It enhances and warms up the skin really gently, and I just love it. I really do. I don't really want to look like I've got a ton of makeup on all the time. You know, some days I do want to look like I'm glammed up, but this is just so subtle. I just think that it is so barely there, but still gently impactful, if that makes sense. What's going on here? And so it kind of depends what you're after. Now, I will say that obviously because it is quite emollient and kind of dewy on the skin, that it's not going to give you the most longevity in the world. It's just not designed to be that way. But for me, on my dry skin, it lasts beautifully. So yes, barely detectable. It just enhances what you naturally have on your face. And I love it. And yeah, I don't need a contour or anything like that. The only thing I would run out and purchase is this. I adore it. And yeah, I probably need to buy a backup actually. If I lost it, oh no, that would be an actual disaster. Now, before I go in with blush, I did want to go in with a pot concealer. Now, this is from NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I've had this for years and it's just the best. It's the best spot concealer that you can get your hands on. Now, I did actually use this under my eyes for a time because I think that you can do. You can't apply it like a liquid concealer because it's a very full coverage matte pot concealer. But I did use it in some of my under eye hollows for a while and it worked really nicely, honestly. And please, if you are considering purchasing the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, please think about that. I used nothing but that concealer for years and years, and then I aged, and now it just looks terrible under my eyes. But this will be a forever holy grail. So basically, this is the shade Custard. You can't even see that, can you? No, because it's pretty much my hand colour. Now, I'm just going to take a little brush. This, I don't know what this is. This is just a Morphe little brush. And I am going to precisely apply it to this bit of texture here. And then I'm just going to pat it in. So it will take away the glowiness of the foundation and hopefully conceal it. And you know, I rarely talk about this concealer. I mean, obviously I have done many times, but it's just one of those products in my collection, just going over my hyperpigmentation, that is just a bit of an unsung hero. Do you know what I mean? Going in with my concealer brush and just patting. And it just kind of does its job, and it's just a background hero, I guess, that doesn't get spoken about a whole lot. But I literally couldn't be without this product ever, ever. So if I did lose my makeup, this would be a complete immediate repurchase. So yeah, you can use it anywhere on the face. It really is. It's amazing. Right, this is the hardest category for me now, and it's blush. Asking me to choose my favourite blush is like asking me to choose my favourite child, because I have so many blushes that I absolutely adore, and I kind of go through phases with them, and it was really hard for me to choose a favourite, but I've chosen a favourite, and I'm going to stick with it. My favourite blushes, I would say I would go out and purchase if I lost all my makeup. It would be my very first purchase with how I feel right now just about blush. It would be these from Patrick Ta. These are the Double Take Cream and Powder blushes. And it would be one specific shade that I would repurchase, and it's this. It's Not Too Much. Now, I have this really toxic trait when I have a powder and a cream formula that I tend to ignore the powder. However, I love the powder in this. And this is really unique in the fact that Patrick Ta advises you to put on the powder first and then the cream. Now, generally, I do just use the cream because, again, I have that toxic trait. However, today I'm going to show you how you use these together. So let me show you the colours. So there's the cream and there's the powder. And this is just my perfect everyday blush. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to start by going in with my BK Beauty 111 brush, and I'm going to go into the powder, and I'm just going to pop that on. And this is exactly what it says it is. It's not too much. So, and I find that it just goes with so many different makeup looks that I'm going for. And I love the fact that you put the powder on first with this, which is so unique. So this is described as a soft rosy taupe, and I think that's a really good description. Now, you can get different finishes with the Patrick Ta blushes. So you can get a matte finish, but this is satin. So I've done the powder, I've just put a light layer of that on because I don't want too much on my face. And now I'm going in with a BK Beauty 109, which is just a densely packed brush. And now I'm going in with the cream over the top. Okay, I picked up a bit much there, didn't I? Yes, it did. All good. We shall save it. I love it. Okay, so I've applied quite a lot there. Okay, but I love it. I have so much blush blindness. It's off the scale. If you apply too much, don't worry. Go back in with your foundation brush and just pat it out and you'll be fine. So the main reason that I love these blushes is because of the finish, and I just love how it's just so beautifully glowy and healthy, and these last all day long. I never have an issue with these lasting. And yeah, if I did lose my makeup, and despite my insane obsession with blush, it would be these. But I do have to say, I do adore the Charlotte Tilbury blush sticks. I love those. I love the Dior blush stick, all creams. I love so many, but if I had to repurchase a blush tomorrow, it would definitely be these. So I am reluctant to use highlight today because of the state of my face, but if there was one highlighter that I was going to repurchase tomorrow, then it would be this one. Yes, it's my trusted Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. I stopped using this for a long time. Well, I actually stopped using highlighter for a long time. Then I tried this again and then remembered how and why I loved it. This is the shade Pillow Talk, and it's very metallic-y. You know, there's nothing supernatural about that, but this was my holy grail for, oh my gosh, for years. So I'm going to take a Real Techniques concealer brush for this. Now I'm going to take this high because of my rosacea. Now you know that I've not been using highlighter because of rosacea, because highlighter and rosacea pimples do not mix. So I'm going to avoid this area here. Actually going to go in with my finger first, and we'll stay away from that area. But I would definitely repurchase this tomorrow. It's probably expired, this actually, because I've never replaced it. I probably should, yeah. If I had better skin today, I would show it you. Well, I would demo it a lot better than what I am doing, but you know, it's this, it's just this. Real life, my friends, it's real life. So powder. This was also very easy for me because I don't, oh, look, I have a lot of powders, but there's only a few that I would literally immediately repurchase because I tend to avoid powder. So on a daily basis, I don't really use it unless I'm wearing something super duper glowy and I need a bit of blurring. But under my eyes, I have one powder that has been a trusted powder to me for years. And although I have lots that I adore, I love the Makeup by Mario, I think it's amazing. I have loads that I love, but there's one that never ever fails me, and it's this one from Huda Beauty. I know everybody says it, don't they? But there's a reason why. So I have this in the shade Pound Cake, and I'm taking my Morphe M164 powder brush, and I'm just going to tip into it, but tapping all that off and maybe swirling a bit in my hand. And then I'm just going to put it under my eyes. This is just the best powder out there. I mean, everything is compared to this because it's so amazing. So it doesn't look dry, never looks cakey, never looks heavy, sets your makeup in place all day. I'm not going to use it on the face because I have a different powder for the face, but this, it's just everything and more. So on the face today, we are using a pressed powder, and this is from Dior. This is the Dior Nude Matte Filter. This is in the shade 02 Light. This is the only powder I've ever put on my face that looks like skin. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it is so undetectable on the skin, but it is. Yeah, and it's a pricey one, obviously. Just using my Morphe brush from before. It's pricey, but it's sorcery. It's a little bit of magic in a compact. I know that's so dramatic, isn't it? And if you are new here, you'll be like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? But if you are not new here, you will know that I don't speak like this about powders. I mean, I have lots of lovely ones. My old holy grail to this was actually the Florasis pressed powder, which is, wow, it's so good. But this looks like skin. How does a powder look like skin? I don't get it. I love it so much. Again, I'm not a big powder lover, so I only use it when I have to. But if I have to, I'm going for this. And I don't find it to be like super flat. It's not luminous, obviously. It's very blurring, sets everything in place. And most importantly, you can't see it. You cannot see it. It's not powdery. It's undetectable. It's like a real life filter on the face. I'd love to know how this works because it's not right. It just doesn't equate in my head a powder to be undetectable. I don't understand. I know most people don't get excited over lip liners, but I definitely do. And I have lots of lip liners and lots of high-end lip liners and ones that I really like. So I think Dior do some lovely lip liners. I really like the Pat McGrath. I think they're really nice. There's one lip liner that always ends up being in my handbag, and it's from Westman Atelier. It's the Lip Shape lip liner, and this is in the shade Petal. There's something about this lip liner. I don't know what it is with this lip liner, but it's just always my number one. And you know, the funny thing is with this lip liner is when I first tried it, I really wanted to hate it because it was so expensive. I think that the thing I love the most about it is how super creamy it is. Most lip liners, they want to be really long lasting. So, you know, the new YSL, the Dior, the Pat McGrath, they're all really long lasting. And although this is long lasting, it's not as long lasting as those, but I don't care. I love the creaminess of it. And I like the fact that I can blend it out and it won't set down and I can't do anything with it. So yeah, I love it. I really do. I love these Western Italia lip liners. They're my favorite. They are. Moving on to lipsticks. This is tricky. I still don't know what I'm going to pick, but it's between these two. So it's between these from MAC. It's the MAC Luster Glass and two shades in particular. So first of all is Hug Me, and you can obviously see how much I love this. And also the very iconic Thanks It's MAC. Thanks It's MAC is a little bit more cool toned. So at the bottom is Thanks It's MAC and at the top is Hug Me. The other brand that do my favourite lipsticks are actually from Dior, and I always talk about these. These are, I mean, look, I can't twist this up anymore. It's gone. These are the Dior Addict Hydrating Shine lipsticks. I actually don't know what, I don't know. I think it would be the Dior. I do. I think it would be in this shade, which is 100. You can tell how much of a nude head I am because all of my lipsticks are very nudey, but I love that shade. You see there's 100 nude look. And it's just the perfect nude. These are just beautiful. And so I'm going to go with the Dior. Yeah, I love it. I do. But I love the MAC as well. The Luster Glass line from MAC are just phenomenal because they're not super glossy, but they just give the most beautiful amount of shine to the lips. But these Dior, they just feel like silk. They're just so comfortable on the lips. 100 nude look is the most perfect nude. So not too much beige in there and not too much pink. It's just perfection. I just love it. Okay, and to finish off, I would finish off with my Holy Grail setting spray, which is, of course, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This has been my Holy Grail for years, and it would just make the most sense for me to run out and purchase this if I lost all of my makeup. I will say that there are more affordable, amazing setting sprays. There is an amazing one from No. 7 that I discovered recently, and this is just as good as the Charlotte Tilbury. But if we're talking high-end, it's always going to be Charlotte Tilbury because it just never lets me down. It melts all my makeup in together, and it definitely helps my makeup to last as well. So, yeah, I've loved it for years. I have. So that was actually really fun to do, but also it was also terrifying to contemplate losing my makeup because that is one of my greatest fears when I'm traveling is that all of my makeup will go missing. And you know what? It's sometimes a really good thing to sit down and think, what would I run out and repurchase first if I was able to? Because then you really know what you absolutely love and what you rely on and what are actual holy grails to you. So I will, of course, be doing a drugstore version of this. So I will make sure I get that out in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. So do let me know, which items would you run out and repurchase immediately if you ended up losing all of your makeup? Let's hope that never happens. But if it did, what would you repurchase first? Let us know down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.